Hey YouTube, Paradigm Omega here. Normally I consider myself a bit of a gamer, but lately I've been delving into something else. I've been watching a couple of conspiracy theory videos, as well as debunking videos. And after many giggles and lots of laughter, and also a number of headaches trying to understand people's different points of interest and views that they see, it kind of dawned on me that there is no way to gauge who is nuts and who isn't. So, I decided to come up with my own mathematical formula to try and figure out who is crazy and who isn't. So I came up with something called the Crackpot Quotient. Now you guys are going to love this. The equation itself is not that difficult to understand. It's actually pretty simple. So basically you've got CQ equals IGF plus FPS plus WS squared plus RV plus LOD plus ESEN squared plus RF divided by US squared plus FCV squared. So that equation is all well and good, but we need to understand what the variables of that equation is. So here is a brief description of what each variable means. So let's start. CQ is obviously the crackpot quotient. This is the number we're solving for. IGF, or idiotic giggle factor, is a number derived from how much you laugh at the person's explanation of the topic. FPS, or facepalm strength, is a number determined by how hard you facepalm yourself based on the previously mentioned explanation. WS squared, word salad squared. Basically, how much irrelevant jargon the person uses to sound intellectual without understanding what they're saying. Now, the reason this number is squared is very simple. The more word salad you use, the greater the score. RV, the regurgitation value. This is the value determined by how often the person explaining a topic regurgitates previously said explanations to try and impress. This number can be tricky, as it can both increase or decrease the scoring. LOD, or level of disbelief. It's pretty self-explanatory actually. It's a number derived from how much shock and disbelief you as the viewer experience based on the explanation. Now just remember, this number is not to be used in the understanding of the topic, but merely the level of disbelief at the person trying desperately to get their point across. ESEN squared. The egocentricity value. A value determined from how egocentric the person explaining the topic is. And once again, yep, it's squared. Because the more egocentric the person explaining the topic is, the more impact it'll have on the final answer. RF, the rage factor. I love this one. Now, this one isn't used too often, but I had to include it into the formula just in case you had a person getting enraged while explaining a topic, which, trust me, has happened previously. US squared, the understanding scale. Very self-explanatory. The more you understand, the bigger the number. And once again, it too is squared. And finally, FCV. The final variable is the fact-checking value. This is a value derived from how much the person explaining has actually fact-checked their claims before going on and trying to explain their point. Squared once again, this number can be a very big factor in the calculation. So that equation may sound a little bit confusing, but let's see it as an example. Let's say we give a person whose explanation was pretty funny to watch a 7 out of 10, a facepalm value of 4 out of 10, use a bit of word salad, so a 5 out of 10, didn't regurgitate too much, so a 3 out of 10, highish with a disbelief factor of 6 out of 10, not too egocentric, so a 2 out of 10, was pretty pleasant in the presentation, so a rage factor of 0, divided by a 3 out of 10 for understanding and a 2 out of 10 for fact checking, and we get a total crackpot quotient of 49, with the range being between 0 and 250. So basically, having a crackpot quotient scale of 0, you have a pretty good chance of getting your point across. Most of the time, average people would probably get about a 125 on theirs, but if you hit a 250, you are a solid, certified crackpot. I hope this equation helps with those people who are debunking conspiracy theorists. I would love to see this calculation be used in some of those debunking videos. Please feel free to use this calculation whenever you need to. Until next time guys, have a good one.